Really? So you didn't get the connection between her being asked warrants in regard to her leaving the scene. He would take care of her warrants if she would go. You didn't, that wasn't part of your investigation?
No, it was not.
The quid pro quo of taking care of her warrants in exchange for her leaving the scene of an accident?
Objection form.
Well, I think there needs to be a whole other complaint then, it sounds like. Because the substance of the complaint that you were involved in only had to do with an allegation, correct me if I'm wrong, of a racial, of warrants and race.
Objection form.
A question asked by the officer regarding warrants and it being perceived as being asked due to race or location.
What do you understand the complaint being in regard to the motive of the officer asking if she had any warrants?
Objection form.
I think the response that was quoted as given is, "What do I look like, a ghetto bitch?" I think that,
That's not a complaint.
I think it was perceived that him asking if there were outstanding warrants, it's, being judgmental against her as,
You finished?
yes.
What can a police officer do legally when it comes to taking care of warrants? Does a police officer have the capacity to take warrants off, to remove warrants?
No.
Does a police officer have the right to take care of warrants?
No.
Does a police officer have the discretion to let someone go that may have warrants?
Yes.
Now that would be a motivation for a police officer to get someone to do what he wants. As an incentive would be to not act on any warrants that may be there, correct?
There's many scenarios where one may not confirm on a warrant or,
Plenty of times that an officer can use that as leverage, or, oh, we're recording everything. Is that your own recorder?
Yeah, I forgot to turn it on.
Uh-oh. You forgot to turn it on?
Sorry.
Do you want me to repeat anything that I said?
Why don't you continue with your depo?
But you've never heard of the allegation that Officer Barger offered Goldie to take care of her warrants if she would leave.
no, I did not.
It was just your understanding that she got offended by being merely asked if she had any warrants?
That's my
And that was the
understanding.
extent. Did you listen to any of the video that had any of this conversation? Or is that the one that ended up being misclassified?
Objection form.
I hope not.
I don't recall. They were reviewed, but I can't, without refreshing my memory with them.
Well, that
But
would-
I do not recall hearing that on audio.
Is the video that's misclassified, is that the smoking gun, the one that would have had the conversation between Barger and Goldie?
Objection
That-
form.
Officer Barger's video has both audio and video.
And did that video and audio record the conversation between Officer Barger and Goldie?
Objection
I
form.
believe it did, yes.
And in that video and audio, did you hear Officer Barger make any statements to Goldie?
Not that I recall, no.
None at all. Well, what do you recall hearing in terms of a verbal exchange between the officers regarding warrants?
Casual conversation that would occur in any normal collision investigation, identifying passengers, getting...
Between Goldie and the investigator in regard to warrants. Did you hear anything on the video or did you hear anything in the audio that recorded the conversation between Barger and Goldie?
Relating to warrants, not that I recall.
Was there a conversation that you heard between Barger and Goldie?
On audio, yes.
Yeah, okay. And does the audio of Officer Barger and Goldie record their entire conversation?
I believe it did, yes.
So that's recorded and that's still preserved, right?
Yes.
That's not the misclassified one.
No.
Were you able to listen to the misclassified one before it disappeared?
No, I did not.
Was anybody reprimanded for misclassifying that audio or video?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my
Was
knowledge.
anyone targeted as being as doing something wrong by misclassifying the audio or video?
Objection form.
No.
You see, I'm very familiar with obtaining videos from HEB and other locations, and it appears as though every time there's someone stealing something from them, they've got it on video. But when there's an accident caused by their negligence, all of a sudden they just don't seem to have that video. I'm not saying that that's the situation here, but do you even smell a hint of mischief regarding this misclassified video
Objection
on
form.
anybody's part?
Objection form. May I answer?
No.
Do you find it to be unusual for something of this relevance to be subtly misclassified, deleted, or for whatever reason unavailable?
Objection form. May I answer?
I wouldn't have statistics on how often that occurs.
But it does happen, doesn't it? And it would be to the benefit of not only the city but the police to have a video disappear that may have incriminating evidence on it, right?
Objection form. May I answer?
I don't know if it'd be a benefit. I mean,
It'd be a benefit if the video or the audio has recorded the cop bribing Goldie in order to just leave and not report the accident, right?
Objection form.
Who would benefit from that audio disappearing? Goldie or you?
Objection form.
Not you personally, but you in your position as being the driver that caused the accident.
Objection form. May I answer?
I mean, yeah, it's a valuable piece of evidence to have that audio.
Right. And that audio that was from Officer Moxley's missing audio or video would have been the one that recorded Officer Barger's conversation with Goldie, right?
Objection form.
It would have been the audio of Officer Moxley's conversation with Ms. Gaddison.
Okay. What do you understand, Officer Moxley? Maybe I got Barger and Moxley confused. What was from your? Did you hear any about? Did you hear any of Officer Moxley's conversations through any other form of technology that's out there, video, audio, or otherwise?
If I recall correctly, him speaking with Ms. Gaddison, Officer Moxley speaking with Ms. Gaddison, was picked up on video from Officer Barger's vehicle where he was positioned. As Officer Moxley's vehicle was parked on the other side of the parking lot, his video didn't capture it. We're just talking about the video aspect of it. His video picked it up. Now, the audio, if I recall correctly, I mean, it's very hard to make out if it picked up much of any of their conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Just given that his body mic was not synced to the
Yep.
DMAV system in Officer Barger's car, it was synced to his DMAV system. And
Moxley.
I'm sorry?
What officer are you talking about?
Officer Moxley.
Okay.
There are times, just for instance, if Officer Barger was to pass by while they're having a conversation, his body mic may pick up some of that conversation.
Was Moxley reprimanded for any kind of mistake on his part regarding this?
Objection form.
I can't recall specifically if there was due to the misclassification, it would have been more of a training or verbal counseling in nature. I'd have to go back and see.
I'm going to ask that you do that. Would you be able to get back with me?
That's inappropriate. You know you have to do a request for production or interrogatory to the attorney.
I've done that to you.
You have not done any request for production or
Oh, yes, I
interrogatory to
did.
me. You have not.
To my knowledge, he has not, but I would have to go back and refresh on that topic.
I've subpoenaed the videos, too.
You have not.
Okay?
Yeah, again, this wasn't to me.